Shri Bhagavan Vacha Ashochayananvasochastvam Pragnavadamscha bhashase Gatasunascha Nanushochayati panditaha. Please repeat word by word. Shri Bhagavan Vacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, said, Ashochayan, that which is not worthy of lamentation. Anvasochaha, you are lamenting. Tvam, you. Pragnavadaha, learned talks. Cha, also. Ashase, speaking. Gata, lost. Asum, life. Agadha, not past. Asum, life. Cha, also. Na, never. Anushochanti, lament. Panditaha, the learned. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The Blessed Lord said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Can you repeat the translation? The Blessed Lord said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor the dead. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord at once took the position of the teacher and chastised the student, calling him indirectly a fool. The Lord said, you are talking like a learned man, but you do not know that one who is learned, one who knows what is body and what is soul, does not lament for any state of the body, neither in the living nor in the dead condition. As it will be explained in later chapters, it will be clear that knowledge means to know matter and spirit and the controller of both. Arjuna argued that religious principles should be even more important than politics or sociology. But he did not know that knowledge of matter, soul and supreme is even more important than religious formularies. And because he was lacking in that knowledge, he should not have posed himself a very learned man. As he did not happen to be a very learned man, he was consequently lamenting for something which was unworthy of lamentation. The body is born and is destined to be vanquished today or tomorrow. Therefore, the body is not as important as the soul. One who knows this actually is learned, and for him there is no cause of lamentation, regardless of the condition of the material body. Om Namaste Hare Krishna. There is one very interesting story which Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada relates, and which is very much connected to what we will be seeing in this verse. It so happened, generally we know, in Bengal side, during the rainy season, there is sometimes a lot of water and many of the rivers become flooded. So especially in Bengal we know river Ganges, Ganga is what flows. So river Ganges was over flooded, and there was a so-called learned man. Here we are seeing Arjuna. He is posing himself to be very learned, right? Krishna, when he is speaking like a learned word, Krishna right in the beginning is calling him that you are speaking like learned man, but actually your behavior is not that of a learned person. You are lamenting for something which is not to be lamented. This is not a sign of a Pandita. Nanu shochanti Pandita. So similarly, this man was very learned. He was a research student, a PhD holder. And he had not a lot of knowledge about, theoretical knowledge about physics, about life science, many such subject matters. So, this person, he was going to his village, and unfortunately all the roads, they were over flooded. So he had to use a boat in order to go to the other side of the river. So he took one boat, and he was just rowing around. The boatman was rowing him and taking him to the other side of the boat. So this learned student, he started making fun of this boatman, because he knew that this boatman is not very literate, not very educated. So he just wanted to make a fun of him. So he started asking him a few questions. What he did, he took out some coins from his pocket and dropped it in the river. And then asked the boatman, do you observe a phenomenon here? I have dropped 1 rupee coin. What do you understand by this? I do not understand. The coin has gone inside, drowned. So then he asked, can you tell me, a small coin when I am dropping in the river, it is drowning. But such a huge boat, it is floating on the water. Do you know the principle behind this? So the boatman was amazed. He said, I have no idea. My father has taught me how to earn my livelihood. I take people from this side to another side, and that is how I am earning my livelihood. But I have no idea. He said, you have no idea what is Archimedes' principle? How much water is displaced by the boat and how it is floating? You have no idea. You have never studied physics. I tell you, boatman, 25% of your life is waste. So, then further, the boatman was rowing the boat. Then, this scholar or this research student, he took some water in his hand and showed it to the boat. Boatman, at least least can you tell me how many species of life exist in this water? How many faunas are there? How many floras are there? He said, my dear sir, I am hearing this for the first time. What is this species? I have seen some fishes inside the water. Apart from that, I have no idea. He said, my God, you have no idea about life science? Biology, zoology, botany, you have no idea? I tell you, boatman, you don't know physics, you don't know life science. 50% of your life is waste. He thought at least 50% is balanced. Then further, the boatman was rowing, and because it was rainy season and a lot of winds were blowing, so huge wind was blowing at that time, the climate was not very good. Taking advantage of this climate, he posed one more question to the boatman. My dear boatman, at least you must tell me what is the science behind how to row the boat according to the direction of the wind. At least you must be knowing this. He said, whatever little experience I have got, whatever my parents have taught, accordingly I do. But I have no idea what is the science behind that. He said, my God, you have no idea of physics. You do not know life science. And you have no understanding of weather science, ecology, nothing. I tell you, boatman, 75% of your life is waste. And then this weather turned very, very bad. And the winds were blowing like anything. Suddenly, one of the gusts of wind, it just toppled the whole boat upside down. And immediately the boatman jumped from the boat and started swimming across. And he was shouting, my dear scholar sir, please swim across, it is hardly a few meters away. And this boatman is already gulping water, he is drinking water and he is shouting, raising his hand, my dear boatman, save me, save me. He said, my dear sir, you know physics, you know life science, you know weather science, climate science, ecology, everything. But unfortunately, you do not know how to swim and save your life. I tell you, 100% of your life is saved. So Prabhupada, this is very simple story, gives a very important meaning from this. Prabhupada says, if one does not know the science of the soul, simply saving this body, which is like a dress, which ultimately cannot be saved, it will be finished. It is foolishness. It is not knowledge, it is ignorance. And this is actually what we are seeing here. Arjuna is not having the knowledge about the spirit soul. He is having compassion on the basis of this material body. And Prabhupada says compassion for the material body, it is bondage. Compassion for the spirit soul is liberation from this world. That is actually called real knowledge. A very interesting example Prabhupada gives just to make us understand about what is the meaning of science of soul. It's a very simple example, but very important to understand. Prabhupada gives an example. Suppose there is a man and one person is drowning in the water, in the lake. And suddenly his friend comes and tells everybody, get apart, I will save him. And he tells everybody to move aside. And then he jumps inside the lake and finally brings only his pant and shirt. Do you think he has saved the person? The person has already drowned. He has simply saved his pant and shirt. Similarly, simply caring for the body, compassion for the body, different kinds of activities we do for the body, only for the body, is actually like that. It is just like saving the pant and shirt. Can a person be happy? Suppose every day you take care of your clothes very nicely. You wash them nicely, iron them nicely, keep it in the shelf nicely. Can you be happy just by that? When you feel hungry, you think, no problem, I will iron my clothes nicely. I'll be happy by that. When you feel thirsty, if you think, no, let me wash my cloth nicely, I'll be happy by that. How it is possible? Just by taking care of cloth, how you can be happy? This is what we have to understand. This is what Krishna is trying to tell us. This body is just like a cloth. No doubt, cloth has to be washed, it has to be ironed, it has to be kept safely. But just by washing the cloth, you cannot be happy. So what we are doing in today's world, we are just trying to take care of this body, which is just like a cloth. Prabhupada tells one more incident, it's a real incident, it's not a story, which happened in Calcutta. It's very enlightening to understand these interesting examples which Prabhupada gives to make us understand this spiritual knowledge. There was once Prabhupada, with his family when he was living, he heard one loud cry coming from a neighbor's house. In the neighbor, there was a married couple living and they had some children. They had two sons. One was elder, one was younger son. So, there was a loud cry of the son crying. So Prabhupada immediately sent his servant to find out what has happened. So the servant found out that what has happened is, the younger brother, he had fallen ill. He had got typhoid. And the doctor had come to the house. The doctor had prescribed him that at least for 15-20 days, he should not be given solid food. Should be given some rice, broken rice, ganji. So you can imagine 10-15 days if you have to subsist on ganji, how it will be. Isn't it? So this is how this boy was living. One day, it so happened, mother had prepared special parathas in the house. It was a festival, like we had yesterday, the Shara festival, right? So nice feast was prepared. So likewise, in the house there was a festival and mother had prepared some special parathas. So this younger brother was not able to bear that pain. That parathas are being prepared, my brother is eating nicely and I have to eat only this rice ganji. So he was very frustrated. Somehow for shopping, the parents went out and this boy got a chance. He immediately went to his brother. Brother, what kind of brother you are? You love me or not? You tell me. He said, yes, I do love you. You have no compassion on me. Every day you have been eating so nice food, everything. Today, at least one day, can you not give me those parathas? So brother became very compassionate. Yes, what you are saying is right. And immediately he supplied him nice parathas. And both the brothers had nice feast. And immediately after the feast, he started vomiting and his health became more and more worse. The parents returned from the market and they were completely taken back to see that the son who was recovering, his health has become suddenly more worse. And then they found out what is the problem, what happened. Once they came to know that elder brother, he has given parathas which was forbidden for him, the mother took out chappal and left and right she was beating. No mother, I was only trying to help my brother, I love him, I was just trying to give him. And the mother is shouting, you want to kill your brother, you want to kill your brother. The son is not able to understand. I was only trying to help him. You see, this is very important to understand. Until we know, unless we know what is real compassion, where we have to apply compassion, actually we will be inviting problems. That is what Krishna is telling Arjuna. Body is not a matter of showing some compassion. The soul has to be shown compassion. So what we are seeing today, people across the world, when they show compassion, you will find they will open hospitals. Recently I was giving a seminar in SDM College. It's one of the very famous colleges in the Harvard, SDM Medical College. So he was telling very proudly, Swamiji, do you know how many patients do we get every day? Nearly 4,500 patients. Actually, he is telling proudly that such a huge hospital and we are getting around so many patients. But actually we should think. A sane man will think, is it a matter of pride? So many people are suffering. That is what one should recognize. And then he was telling, that is in the outpatient department. And we have a capacity of 1,000 people's bed. And practically every day it is filled. Many people have to go back. So I was wondering, how much suffering is actually there in the world? Isn't it? And just by curing one disease, two disease, do you think his problem is solved? He will not fall sick again? So real intelligence is not just to think about some temporary solution. I remember when I was in Bangalore, there used to be one famous doctor, famous in quotes, not exactly famous. In the beginning time, we could not recognize him. His name was Dr. Somshekhar. I don't know if old devotees are here who can recognize. We were in Bangalore. What he used to do, if you approach him, and if you tell him 5 symptoms you are having, doctor, I am having cough, I am having loose motion, I am having weakness, I am having back pain. For every single symptom, he will give you one medicine. And if you have forgotten, after some time if you remember a few more symptoms, and if you tell him more symptoms, that many more medicines he will write. Actually, later on we recognize that he is not a very good doctor. He is not able to diagnose the disease. The disease may be one, symptoms may be many. Right? Okay, few symptoms we have to subside. Suppose there is a high fever, we have to give paracetamol so that the fever comes down. But actually, only symptomatic treatment will not cure your disease. Again your fever will come, again vomiting will come, again things will come. The doctor, real doctor will recognize the cause of the disease and he will cure the disease, not just the symptoms. Similarly, the real doctor understands that these varieties of suffering, simply by curing their symptomatic, if I give them symptomatic treatment, somebody is hungry, give him food, somebody is having no shelter, give him some shelter, somebody is suffering, take him to the hospital. This is only symptomatic relief. Do you think people who have no problem for eating, people who have got shelter, they are very happy in their life? Isn't it? So happiness is not a question of somebody is rich, somebody is poor. The four kinds of real problem which is explained in Bhagavad Gita does not discriminate. Old age will not discriminate. You are king of Mysore. No. Old age will not discriminate. Disease will not discriminate. You are Prime Minister of India. So disease will not come. Disease will come. Death will come. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha dosha darshana. Krishna says, real knowledge means when one recognizes the real problems of life. The real problems of life is because of this body. And once we understand that actually we are not this body, we are spirit soul. Soul has no birth, it has no death, it has no old age, it has no disease. And anything which is born, it will have disease, it will have birth, it will die one day, it will have old age, everything will be there. So simply showing compassion for the body is not real knowledge. It is required. Whatever is required to upkeep the body, to keep the body healthy, that is different. But just to think, just by taking care of the body I will be happy, that is biggest ignorance. One ISKCON devotee relates one incident which happened. So this ISKCON devotee, he was a sannyasi. Once he visited one professor. So the professor was little busy at that time and he was some, correction of the papers were going on. One of the questions was, what is your identity? So then this sannyasi became little inquisitive and he started asking to the professor, what answer do you expect from this, from the children? So then he was saying, I am expecting, he will say, I am Indian, I am born in such and such state, I am Kannadiga, I am Maharashtrian, I am North Indian, isn't it? I am expecting this. I am born in such and such family. This is my identity. This is my father. This is my mother. I belong to this place. So then this sannyasi asked, suppose if the student writes, I am spirit soul, not this body. The professor said, you will get a big zero. So this sannyasi was relating that this professor is considered to be so educated. But see, the real knowledge which Krishna is actually saying in Bhagavad Gita, real identity. Am I a boy? Isn't it? When I am a small child, I am thinking I am a boy. When I become adult, I am thinking I am a young man. When I become old, I am thinking I am old man. So what are you? Are you that small boy? Are you that young man or are you that old person? Who are you? This is a question to ask. Isn't it? Today I am Hindu, tomorrow I become a Christian or I become Muslim. Does my identity change? Have I become changed? Today I am born in India. Next life if I am born in Pakistan, my identity changes? No. Nowadays, even the body can be changed. The sex of the person can be changed. Male can be made into female. But we remain the same. That is what we should understand. When you go to your house, you can have a look. Look at your albums. When you were a small child, you will be able to recognize, this is me. At least your parents will be able to recognize. Yes, this is you. Then we should wonder, where is that body gone? Isn't it? If I am thinking I am that body, where is that body gone? The body is constantly changing. So how are we thinking we are this body? We are the experiencer within this body. The person who is experiencing, the person who is experiencing death, person who is experiencing diseases, old age, growth, all these things is what we are experiencing. So this attachment, this taking care of the body, it is there even within animals also. Prabhupada gives an example that once when Prabhupada, he was in Vrindavan. We all know that Vrindavan, even though it is a very spiritual place, it is also famous for a lot of monkeys, isn't it? So it so happened that in Vrindavan, Prabhupada was sitting in his room. Then one mother monkey and one small baby, they were playing outside. Door was closed. Somehow from the window, that small monkey, it was able to come inside. It's a small. The baby monkey was able to enter inside. And then it did not know how to go. It was struggling like anything. And Prabhupada explains, the mother monkey became almost mad, trying to take that child out. The mother monkey is not able to come inside because the holes were very small and the door is also closed. So somehow Prabhupada said that he was able to push that monkey outside, and then it was relieved. So Prabhupada was explaining this attachment to the body, attachment to kins, it is there even in animals. What is so great about that? This attachment for the body is there even in animals. If at least we don't become little higher than the animal, if we don't inquire, who am I? Where did I come from? Where will I go after leaving this body? Then human life is almost like animal life. There is a very nice verse which appears in the Vedas. Prabhupada quotes it many times. He says, Ahara nidra bhayamaithunam cha samanam etat pashuvi naranam. Four things are common both in animals and in human beings. What is that? Ahara. Eating. And actually we see how people are mad after eating. Prabhupada even relates one incident where he saw there is one famous place in America where in one of the hotels they cook one jungly bird. To eat that jungly bird, people travel almost 100 kilometers. Just imagine. People travel around 100 kilometers, they queue up in the line and then they want to eat that jungly bird. And then they are thinking, my life is successful. I have tasted that jungly bird. So Prabhupada says, this eating, whether it is done in animal life, whether it is done in human life, is there a difference? A pig is eating stool and he is also enjoying stool. If you observe sometime, you will find Prabhupada says, they grow very fatty also. Until and unless a person is happy, he cannot grow fatty. He has to be very happy eating his food. That contains something like phosphate, it is very nutritious too. How many of us will like to eat that nutritious food? But see that animal. He is nicely making sound and wagging his tail as if he is enjoying his life is successful. Eating that. That is not human life. So this is what we should understand. Even an animal is enjoying his food. What is so great in ahara, in eating? So the big civilization we have created in order to increase that eating propensity into a polished civilization is not advancement. Similarly, nidra, sleeping. Probably they are more better in sleeping. At least they don't have to take sleeping pills. We find people are in so much anxiety, so much stress. Sometimes they say, I'm not getting even proper sleep. 12 o'clock till night, I'm waking up, hardly any sleep. And we have made a huge civilization so that we can eat nicely, sleep nicely. I remember one incident. Once I was going with my colleague, we were in Hubli. So in the very beginning times, for making some life members, I was going with my colleague. So the staircase we were climbing, it was an apartment. The apartment was like this. First you go like this, then you turn like this, zigzag kind of thing. The stairs were. So at one platform, at one landing, I was amazed to see a dog sleeping. You know how it was sleeping? It was sleeping with its back on the floor and all four legs towards the sky. So I was thinking, you see this creator? How he's sleeping. Obvious, he's not even worried about who is coming, who is going. So is it so great? So that is existing even in animal life. Even they are sleeping. Ahara nidra bhaya maitunamcha. Bhaya, fearfulness. Out of fear, everybody defends. Animals are also defending. We may be defending with missiles and different kinds of warfares we have got. Every house practically you will find beware of dog. That means we are afraid. If we are not afraid, why we are writing beware of dogs? Because we are thinking somebody may enter without our knowledge, somebody may steal away something. So this fearfulness is existing even in animals. They also defend, we also defend. So ahara nidra bhaya maitunamcha samanam etat pashubi narana. This is common in human as well as in animal. But there is one difference, it says. Dharmo hi tesha adhiko vishesha dharme nahina pashubi samana. Dharma, spiritual knowledge. Dharma is not something Hindu dharma, Muslim dharma, today I am this dharma, tomorrow Desh dharma, family dharma. That is not the definition of dharma. Dharma means knowledge about our identity. That is called dharma. That is what Krishna is giving right in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. That Arjuna, you are crying for this body, but actually we are not this body. We are the spirit soul, Atma, inside this body. So, this is actually real knowledge. And that is what Krishna is telling in the very beginning when Arjuna is citing many reasons, religious reasons, and many different kinds of reasons he is citing. But he does not understand all those knowledge are inferior knowledge. The knowledge, real knowledge, begins with the knowledge of spirit soul. Knowledge about body, knowledge about eating, knowledge about sleeping, all this knowledge, it is required, no doubt. But this knowledge will keep us on animal platform. We are still not human beings. Human life begins with knowledge about the spirit soul. So that is what Krishna is saying here. Ashochayan annasochastvam pragnavadamscha bhashasi gatasun agatasunascha navishochanti pandita. We'll stop here if anyone has any questions. Try to answer. Any questions? Anyone has? Yes. For this Maithuna means sense gratification, specifically lust, sex enjoyment. So that is present even in animals. Prabhupada says, actually they are more, more perfect in enjoying that kind of life. Just like a pigeon can have at least 20, 30 times sex in a day. We cannot enjoy. At a time, one pig you will find, he will give birth to at least 12 babies. In a year, in 2 years we can give birth to only one child. So we cannot compete with them in ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithuna. Maithuna means actually sex. The enjoyment is derived by sex. That is available even in the animal life. So that is what it says. Okay. So Prabhupada says, actually it is very simple. Prabhupada gives an example. Let us say somebody passes away in the house. And the child, the son is crying. My father has passed away, my father has gone, my father has passed away. Somebody may come and question, what are you saying? You are saying your father has gone away, your father has passed away. Don't you see he's lying here only? In spite of that, he will say, no, my father has passed away. It is contradiction. The father is lying there and he is still saying my father has passed away. That means what? He had never recognized his father in reality. He was all the life he was thinking this body is the father. Only at the time of death he has come to know, actually this body was not my father. He has passed away, he has gone away. Only the body is lying. Actually it is very simple. A sane man can recognize this. Even a child actually he can recognize. Prabhupada once, he says, if you ask a child, suppose he has a pen in his pocket and you ask him, what is this? Whose pen is this? He will say, it is my pen. Whose shirt is this? It is my shirt. Whose cap is this? My cap. Whose hand is this? My hand. Whose leg is this? My leg. Question will be asked. You are always saying, my finger, my hand, my mouth, my nose. Where are you? Even a common man can recognize. It belongs to me. It is not me. The hand belongs to me. It is my hand, not I hand, not I leg. So even a small child actually can recognize the identity as the soul. So Atma is our real identity. We are spirit soul. And Atma has no birth, it has no death. It is part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita. That anything which is born will have death. And anything which is not born, automatically there is no death. So Atma has no birth, it is no death. Ajo nitya shashvatoyam purana. It is said about that. It is aja. It has no birth, it is no death. It is shashvata. It is eternal.
Sometimes people ask this question like, You're simply chanting Hare Krishna, you're not helping poor people, poor kids. So how to understand?
Okay. You see, it is very important to understand, if you want to water a plant, there are many parts in the plant. There are leaves in the plant, there are branches in the plant, there is a trunk in the plant, there is a root in the plant. Where do you water? If you want, the water should be supplied to all the parts of the body. Where should you water? Roots. Suppose you are watering on the leaves, it may help to clean the leaves. It will not nourish the leaf. Right? So after some time, that pouring the water on the leaf will not work. The leaf will become dead after some time, because the water is not supplied to the leaf by pouring on it. The water will be supplied to it by pouring the water in the root. Similarly, we should know whom to serve. If we serve the supreme root, the supreme cause of all cause, Krishna is the supreme root of complete material creation. Janmanyasya yataha anvaya, it is said in Bhagavatam. He is the origin of everything. So if we water him, if we serve him with love and affection, then automatically all the living entities who are part and parcel of that root of Krishna, they are automatically served. So service of Krishna includes serving everyone. Automatically, everybody else is also served. That is how you find that today, even though there are so many old age homes, even though there are so many hospitals, even though there are so many types of different welfare activities going on, but suffering of people has not reduced. Day by day it is only increasing more and more. But just imagine, just yesterday we celebrated Dashara, right? In Ram Rajya, which people even today talk about, there was not even excessive heat. There was not even excessive cold. The diseases were out of question. People were not dying even immaturely. Today, 30 years, 40 years, after 40 years, there is no guarantee. Even 40 years is also nobody knows. Before 30, between 30 and 40 also. Heart attack, this cardiac arrest, so many different kinds of diseases are there. Prabhupada gives one incident that it so happened. The son of one person died. And the father immediately went to Lord Rama and asked him that something appears to be wrong in your kingdom. My son has died even before me. So actually, generally what should happen? First the father dies, then the son dies. If the son dies before, something he has not lived his proper age. So you can imagine, the king was held responsible even for untimely death. People were happy. There was no economic problem. Everybody was happy. Why? Everybody was God-centered. In God-centered society, everybody will be happy. There will be no economic problem. You will not need old age homes. You will not need any kind of people doing welfare activities. Everything will be in abundance. Right? Today, big projects are going on about cleaning Ganga river. Big projects. Yamuna river, all are very dirty. Earlier, the rivers were crystal clear. Waters were overflowing. Good rains were there. Hills were filled with minerals. Trees were filled with fruits. Everywhere there was only, no. It is explained in Bhagavatam. The whole city was completely flourished. Why? That is also explained. It is because of glance of the Supreme Lord. Ime janpada sukriddha supatoshrati viruga. How it is? By the glance of the Supreme Lord. Everything. So, if there is a God-centered society, if everybody is serving the Supreme Lord, it will include service to everyone. Everyone will be happy. I think it's already time. Stop this. Srimad Bhagavad Gita.